Okay. Morning. Sure, all of us had a good night's sleep. Some of us woke up early, some of us woke up even earlier, and some of us didn't go to sleep yet. Okay. We are in the mimer, going a little further. We're in the bottom of the page, the first page, line number 16. So the line right after number 15, obviously. So, quick review of yesterday. We learned that the Jewish people, the Jewish souls collectively, is the soul of Adam Harishon, Adam, very first man. And some souls are related to his head, some souls are related to his arm, and so on and so forth. And a part of the idea we're going to get at is that, first of all the Jewish souls are interconnected. Not that they are just connected, but they're interconnected. That we're going to compare Adam to the way things operate in godliness. Because as we said, Adam, he's not only min ha'adama, he's from the earth, he's also Edam Elyon, he's similar to the one above. So let's see. We're in the middle of the line, right after that parentheses, on line number 16. Behine mevur b'mokem acher, it's explained elsewhere, be'inyan Adam de le'elo, regarding the man of above. We said yesterday there's 10 spheres, and this is the way Hashem operates his creations, through these 10 spheres. He's not made up of spheres at all. He's not made up of anything. He's the absolute singularity and undefinedness, but he expresses himself through these 10 spheres. And these 10 spheres are what we call Adam, that he's like a man, although he's not like a man. So regarding this topic of Adam de Le'elo, the supernal man, Shuhu Bechinas Shema de Tikkun, which is the name Ma, Mem, He, of the world of Tikkun. We're not explaining the details here. We're going to get to the main discussion. Sheyiyu Hayud Sphiros Klulim Zemizeh. So the idea of Adam de Le'elo, the supernal man, the way Hashem represents himself as a man, so to speak, meaning as 10 spheres. It's not just that there are 10 modes, the 10 powers, 10 things that Hashem expresses himself with. These 10 things are actually, in a sense, meshed together. They are, a good word in English for this, they're inclusive of each other. Shechesed yiyeh kolul migvura. So we're going to take two of these 10 spheres, and we're going to use them as an example. There's chesed, and there's gevura, which we're going to poorly translate or sort of translate as kindness and severity, giving and holding back. Shechesed yiyeh kolul migevura, that chesed, kindness, giving, should be comprised of as well also gevura, holding back. Ugevura, next page, mi chesed. Gvura should be made up of chesed as well, the kayotze and the like. So in other words, in this level that we're calling, this level of godliness that we're calling Adam, person, these 10 spheres, they mesh together very nicely. So you don't just have chesed, kindness, giving, as a standalone thing, and you have gvura as a standalone thing. This, when they're all standalone, that's called the world of tohu, which we're going to get to in a minute. But when they're all meshed together and inclusive of each other, that's called tikkun. So what does it mean that they're meshed together and inclusive of each other? So it's not just chesed on its own, gevura on its own, tiferes on its own. You have chesed, you have gvura within chesed, you have tiferes within chesed, the other way around as well. You have chesed within gevura. Just some examples I was trying to think of when I was preparing this. So gevura within chesed, holding back within giving. What does that look like? What was an example I had? I had thought of two examples, one for gevura within chesed, one for chesed within gevura. I'll just give one example which touches on one or the other. I'm not sure which one. A kid is playing with a knife. Okay? Chesed, straight up chesed. You know what chesed says? Chesed says, it's having a great time. Let the kid play with the knife. There's no opposing view. It's just, that's the way you look at it. Let the kid have fun. So it's kindness, but too much kindness is, say too much of a good thing is too much of a good thing. That's exactly that. Too much giving, too much open, too much, just all's good. Gevura, holding back, says, the same kid wants a square meal, so you give them exactly what they need. 2 potatoes, your sandwich, and if this much water in your cup, you finish that. I know this is how much you need. That's all you're getting. That's a little too intense. So gvura within chesed, giving, holding back within kindness, or maybe the other way around, is that a kid is playing with a knife, and you take it away from them. Now, think about that. What does that mean? You know that if you take this knife away from this kid, like this 2-year-old, they're going to cry. Be very, very sad, very upset, very hurt. You hurt their feelings that you took away this toy from them. Now you understand better. You know that knives are dangerous. So you're actually doing a favor for the kid. You love the kid so much that therefore you're taking something away from them. It's almost, it seems like the idea is so obvious, but when you analyze it, it sounds strange. That you love the kids so much that you're going to take something away from them. What do you mean? I thought if you love them, you have to give. No, because giving is not always love. It could be recklessness. But you love the kids so much that you want them to be safe, so you take away the knife from them. Okay? That's what it means that these ideas can come together and be inclusive of each other. You have kindness within severity, severity within kindness. Fine. That's in what we call the realm of tikkun, where everything's been perfected in a sense. Masha'en kein b'tohu, not so in the realm of tohu. Hayu b'vchinas pirud ze tachas ze. There was a separation, one underneath the other. So let's just give a little Kabbalah class for a second. Okay. Hashem created a reality called tohu. What's tohu? There are 10 spheres, just like the way we always talk about. But these spheres did not get along. They were highly, highly intense. Okay? You had kindness. It was chesed. It was infinite chesed. You had gevura, holding back. But it was infinite gevura. And so it's with the other spheres as well. You ever heard the saying, the concept, what happens when the unstoppable force hits the immovable object? The unbreakable wall, whatever you want to say it. I don't know what happens. But this is what happened in the world of Tohu. You had unstoppable chesed, and unstoppable gvura, and unstoppable tiferes, and so on and so forth. And they're diametrically opposed to each other. What resulted in this was shviras hakelim, the vessels which were containing these godly lights, let's call them, shattered. And the sparks from those lights fell from those vessels, fell down below into our world. We're not going to get to the whole Kabbalah of that. Then after that was almost like a prototype. It was done on purpose. It was a purposeful prototype. Hashem created the realm of tikkun, where the things got along so they can actually not shatter. By the way, the analogy is given in Chassidus for the world of Tohu is a child. Untempered emotions. Kid wants a candy. They want the candy. There's nothing else exists. All they want is the candy. When a kid is happy, it knows no bounds. There's no room for anything else. When the kid's angry, it knows no bounds. There's no room for anything else. Fine. So toward the end of line number 1, the hahiskalulus hazois hu al yedei hamshochas shema shemimitzcha. So where does this inclusion come from? This inclusion that exists in these spheres that they should mesh together and get along. This is through drawing down the name Ma. Mem He, it's the name of Hashem, which is represented by the word Ma, which comes from the so to speak, forehead. This is all Kabbalistic things. We're going to make more. It's going to just accept it for now, and we'll delve into it as we go along the Maimer. Shehu b'chinas ein sof. This level that is being brought down into these spheres to have them become inclusive of each other is a level of infinity. Ein sof, no end. Hakoilel kol ha'ishtalshelus uproti hanimtsoim. It includes within it all that will be, with all their details. Because it says in the verse that from you, from Hashem, comes everything. Therefore, it causes inclusivity. Is that a word? Yeah, I think it is. After they come out to a revealed state, each one on its own. The way I understand this is like this. Every person comes from a set of parents. Yeah? Every person comes from a set of parents, a mother and a father. That's the way Hashem designed this universe. You can have parents that have multiple children. 3 children, 7 children, 11 children. This happens. It can happen as well that the children get into fights. Okay? They have into arguments and they fight over toys or more mature things than toys, and they disagree. They don't get along. It could be a big thing. Now, let's take one of the parents. Doesn't matter which one. Let's say the father. Yeah. Before these kids were born, the father had the potential to have all these children. And once these children were born, that potential came out from a potential state to an actualized, materialized state. Kinetic state. That sounds trippy. So the father had a potential within himself. All of these children, they existed in a potential state, and once they were born, they became into an actualized. That potential was actualized. When this potential exists in the father, all the kids get along. As interesting as that might sound, they on that level, they're all honky-dory with each other. They don't exist yet. They're not born yet. But in a potential state, they're all work together, no problem. They all exist within the Father. And in the Father, they're all in a unified state. Not a perfect analogy. It's only once they're born, their own identities, their own existence, then they can start fighting. So in a similar sense, this level of godliness that we're talking about contains within it all that will be. The beginning of time till the end of time, and everything in between, everything that can be and will be, including mainly what we're talking about, the 10 spheres. On this level, since everything is in a unified state, it's all in potential, what will be. So when this level is revealed within the 10 spheres get along. Because on this level, everything does get along, because it all exists at the same time in the same area, so to speak. Line number 4, technically fourth word, it's an acronym. V'zehu shekasuv b'tikunei zohar. This is what it says in the book, the Kabbalistic work, Tikunei Zohar. Shema di'ihu oirach hatzilus. It calls this name, this level, which causes this unity, it calls it the path of the world of Atzilus. What is it? Why is it called a path? Like a pathway that connects 2 separate places. Imagine America without highways. You just have to kind of like figure yourself out. You'd have to just drive and drive, kind of try to pinpoint where the city you're trying to get to is, or some buggy. But once you have a map, you have roadways, you have paths that connect one town or one city to another, it makes a connection. You can actually get from one place to the other. So that's why this level is called the path of the world of Atzilus, that it causes pathways between these spheres that they should connect with each other. Okay, skip the parentheses, line 6, the beginning of the line. Similarly, we understood also regarding the Jewish souls. So again, let's just reconnect it back with what we were talking about. The Jewish souls are the soul of Adam. Okay? Adam is Adam Elel, and he's similar to the above. And we just learned about the inclusivity that exists above. So now we're going to bring that back down to earth, so to speak. So to be understood regarding the Jewish souls, Shem Koima Shlema B'Yachad, that they are one solid, unified entity, one structure. The Hainu, which is Nishmas Adam Harishon, the soul of Adam Harishon, the first man, Shehi Klalusum, which he is them in an inclusive state. I'm sorry, the Shehi Klalusum, he is them in general. I guess that's a way to say it. Although the soul of Adam, or at least let's put it this way, the souls of the Jewish people, they're made up of, figuratively, 248 limbs, just like a body is made of 248 limbs. The souls of the Jewish people are, like we said, some are connected with the head of Adam, some are connected with the foot and the arm of Adam. They're all separate, not separate. They're all unique, standalone limbs. Despite that, they are comprised of each other. They're inclusive of each other. This is our reality, meaning how we see things on the ground. I'm one Jew, you're another Jew. Sometimes we disagree, and I don't like you, and you don't like me. You know, that's the way we see it on the ground. That's not the reality, though. The reality is that we are inclusive of each other. Our souls are, by default, by definition, we are inclusive of each other. Yeah. So he says, like by way of analogy. The guf echad, you have one body. This time we said yesterday that guf means an entity. I translated entity here. Guf actually means body. In one body. Shahagam shehubis chalkus tziyur evorim roish viraglayim v'yodayim v'tzipranayim. You look at a body; it has many different parts, and the doctors in the room can tell us in more detail. We're not going to ask them though. That you have many different limbs. You have a head. You have legs. You have hands, you have nails, you have intestines, you have brains, they have all this stuff. They're all distinct parts. Nevertheless, each part of the body is inclusive of every other part. That for example, in the hand, there's a life force, which is similar to the life force that exists in the foot. Through the veins that are in the hand. So too regarding all the other limbs. And as it's known, so this is not common nowadays, you might tell me otherwise, but bloodletting. Okay? Bloodletting was a common way of healing. Back in the day, you still use leeches? Yeah. Interesting. Okay, sometimes. That what's bloodletting? I think my simple ignorant understanding is that is basically if somebody is not well, they have a disease in their blood. So bloodletting is they use leeches or whatever to suck out the bad blood and that heals the person. But I got a small nod from the doctor. Maybe it was okay. It was a sort of good explanation. So apparently with bloodletting, if there's a problem in one area of the body, often what they would do is they would let blood in a completely different area of the body, and that would heal that part that was failing. Because of this idea that the body is a unified whole, and each part of the body is connected with one another. Okay, we're going to have to pause here and continue tomorrow. Just you should know that we're in the middle of an analogy. We're talking about a body, but it's an analogy to understand Jewish souls. Okay? Over and out.